Nothing more intimidating than that. Okay. And then yes, but I'm on my way. And I don't think I have any questions except for I told you in the note that I had a draft to you going, oh my gosh, like I said I didn't know how to do a thumbnail. Because I feel like at the beginning you had said there was like I don't know, I misunderstood something and I was like, okay, I can do this and make my thumbnail, even though I paid for a video. But
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and all I did was took your video and I just paused it in certain spots and found the right place where I wanted to do. Then I just screenshotted it and pulled it over, put it into Canva, brightened it up, and then made the thumbnail. And I just
Mhm.
did it in about 5 minutes just to kind of show you basically I mean, not simple, but I mean it is, that you could do it without overthinking it.
Mhm.
And I think that's what with Toy is, I mean, he's sick today or he would have been here, but he said that he overthinks it a lot, like he was thinking everything has to be perfect, but the thing is done is better than perfect,
To
so
say he may be overthinking it, but he's also getting it done.
yeah,
So at least there's that.
yeah, that's right. But see, like with us, whenever I first started the channel, I was one of those people. I was like, oh, I was scared to death to get in front of the camera. I was scared to do the videos. I didn't know what I was doing. And then, I was sitting here thinking, well, everything has to be perfect. I had to and I mean, I wish you could have seen the outtakes on the very first video. Because it's literally me with a selfie stick looking at it and my wife standing right there with me going, is this thing even recording? I don't know. Is there supposed to be something? And she's like, I think that red button there means it's recording. And then you can see it stop and then it starts back and me going, well, I still don't know if it's recording or not. And, so it's like, neither one of us had ever done a video, so
Mhm.
and she still don't want to be in front of the camera, but it's like I just had to bite the bullet and do it. And the very first, oh God, I'd probably say our first 10 videos were horrible. I mean, just horrible.
Mhm.
But, you know, and we were doing the wrong types of videos. We finally figured out what type of videos we needed to be doing for our area because we don't have a big relocation area. We have to cater to investors, and it took me a while to figure that out. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, now it's nuts as to how big it's gotten, and it's like I looked at it this morning. We have been gaining about 10 to 12 subscribers a day. And they're steady rolling in. Our views have gone up dramatically. We're getting now anywhere from 10 to 20,000 views a month, from our channel. But the most important thing is that the phone's ringing. People are
Yeah.
calling in saying, wanting to buy property or sell their property, or we just got two new listings off of it, which were, I was shocked at those phone calls because, those people were like, we have a condo in Gulf Shores and we just, we inherited it and we saw your videos and we're like, we want to use you,
Wow.
perfect.
That's amazing.
I know. So, and those are easy calls to go on, because they already know you. They know you, like you, they feel like they could trust you. You show up and it's a really easy conversation.
Yeah. That's
So
very nice.
yeah.
Well, I'm looking at my draft where I thought that I'd emailed you back. And remember, I started in the videos and I asked you about or I didn't ask you. I meant to have asked you somewhere. I made an email and attached like screenshots of where I was going through the videos, the Snappa. Um, you show an example of like pulling Elaine's, you know, picture out and blocking out the background. And there
Hmm.
was like a little toggle button on there. And I, did you say you pay for Snappa or you don't pay for it?
I was paying for Snappa and I was using the free version of Canva. And I'm glad you just said that because I probably need to go back and update the modules. because I use Canva now because EXP gives us Canva. They give us a
Okay.
pro version of Canva.
Yeah. So when you recorded that,
Yeah,
you were using a free, you were paying for SnapUp.
I was. It wasn't much. It was like $120 for the year, I think.
Okay.
But I would highly suggest just maybe figuring it out on Canva
Yeah.
because,
Okay.
you know, it's free to you and me, because we're with EXP.
Okay.
So, and it's a corporate version. So it's like your whole world just opened up. There's things in there that you can do now that I couldn't even do on a paid version of Canva. You have to go to the Pro edition,
Mhm.
which is really expensive. So for EXP to give it to us is amazing, So
Well, I don't know how to use the free yet, and I don't know how to use the paid. I don't know how to use the EXP, any of that. But okay. So yeah, maybe update that. Well, because it showed like your toggle, I don't know. There was some I couldn't get it to do it for me. I couldn't
what
get
it
it to
is
pull
is
that out.
it's a
Yeah.
background remover, and
Right,
so
right.
yeah. So in Canva, it's really easy. I will show. Let me see if I can.
You don't have to do it now. It's okay.
No, that's
Because
what
I
that's
don't
what
have a
this is
video to
for.
make a thumbnail for.
Listen, that's what this session is for. So
Okay.
let me show you. I don't have nothing but time. Let's see.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show you my screen real quick, and then that is my CRM. Let's see. So when you go into Canva,
Okay, so you went into canva.com, not like you didn't have to go to like the EXP and then get into Canva.
yeah, only because I have it saved that way. I have it bookmarked as my. You can see right here. So I've got two separate Canva accounts. I've got my
Hmm.
EXP account and a personal account. That personal account I no longer pay for, and I contacted Canva and I told them, I have the paid version, and basically I need my money back because EXP gives it to us now. They sent me back the money, which I was really shocked at. I didn't expect it, but I figured, ask for it and you might get it, and I did. So they
Yeah.
gave me back the $120, that I had spent on it. But I'll show you just how easy it is to, like, let's say if I'm going in here to make a thumbnail. So you just click on thumbnail and this pops up. Now I have a bunch of assets already loaded in here. Um, but just say I wanted to use this picture. So you can put this picture up here just like so. Move it around to where it shows the house. And then if I wanted to put somebody in there, say like this picture of me and Aileen. So I can pull that picture over and see how it's got that white background on it.
Hmm.
Well, then I can just hit right here where it says BG remover. Just
Hmm.
hit that background remover and voila, it's all gone. So
And
then
that picture, you put that picture in there, like you uploaded some things just to have on hand.
yeah, I just uploaded a picture, 'cause we had these headshots done in Kentucky, I think is where we got them done. And
Right.
then,
But the house.
oh, the house. Okay,
Yeah.
good question.
Is that one of EXP stock?
It is not. I went to Chat GPT and told it,
Yeah.
yeah, I just told it to make me a thumbnail based on like whatever video I had. Let me see if I can. So like Chat GPT, let's see. I think I edited a video yesterday and had it make me a thumbnail. Um, let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this just to show you, this is the way I start out everything whenever I have a video completely done. So I'll take that video and transcribe it, and you see this first prompt. It says, "I do not want you to respond, only read and learn. I'm going to provide you with a YouTube script from a video. Here's the script for you to learn." And then I copy that from Descript and I just paste it in there. And so once I get it pasted in, then ChatGPT says, It says, got it. I've read it and learned the entire script. Let me know what you want me to help you with, basically. So then I tell it to search the internet and give me 5 viral, engaging, and catchy titles for a YouTube video based on the script that I provided with you. These titles should appeal to the viewers interested in furthering their real estate career. This is for our attraction channel, is what I've
Mm-hmm.
created this for. So then it gives me the titles. So then once it gives me the titles, I asked it based on its opinion, which one's the best that will go viral, cause people to click on it. So it gives me the best one and it tells me why. So then I tell it to write me a description, and it wrote me a description that is SEO packed, SEO friendly. So then I tell it to give me thumbnail suggestions, like lettering to go on the thumbnail, 1 to 3 words that will be eye catchy and will make people want to click it. Then I tell it to write me a blog post for this video. It did. I tell it to write me a Facebook post for that video. It does. And I save all these assets into like a Word document or whatever so that I don't have to go back and search for them later. Then I tell it to make me a thumbnail based on this with no people, no pictures, and make it the size of a thumbnail, make it really bright, eye-catching, something that would make the viewer want to click and watch more. So it did this, and I said, well, that's too wordy. So I was like, make it less wordy, use 1 to 3 words. And of course, there it is right there. So I used that thumbnail and I used this one. And basically what I did was I just pulled these out. So you can just pull it out and drop it to your desktop like so. And then I went over to Canva and I loaded them in. You can see it right there. So all I did was I just loaded that picture in. I stretched it to, crap, grabbed the wrong spot. I stretched it to fit the entire screen, which I've got it in the wrong place. Just like so. And then I wanted to put the guy who is in the video is Nick Krim.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on the internet and found a picture of Nick Krim, just like so. And I copied that picture off the internet. And then I said, remove the background. And I placed Nick Krim just somewhere, just so I put him right there. Might make it bigger or whatever. But then you can click on his picture and hit edit so you'll make it stand out. Put a shadow around it, make it white. And then got the intensity, move it down a little bit. But there you go. There's your thumbnail. And what did it take me? 5 minutes? And that's a thumbnail that's bright. It's gonna make people click it. It's gonna make them wonder, AI revolution, what's he talking about? And I've got Nick Krim's picture on there. So when they click on that video and start to watch it, Nick Krim's the first we have our intro on those videos, but it'll be Nick Krim will be within the first minute and a half, you'll see Nick Krim. So
Mm-hmm.
once they click on that video, they know, oh, well, this is the guy it's about. So but that's the idea behind all the thumbnails is just to, just I guess try to get creative, pull a creative mind from it. But to give you another example of what I did with another one is like this one here. Aileen did a before and after video of a condo that we sold to some clients of ours that they went in and gutted it and fixed it up. So I wanted it to, so the first half of the video is the old condo. Then there's like a little break in there, and then we show the renovated condo. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in order to do that, I had ChatGPT while I was in there getting all the assets together. I said, "Make me a thumbnail." Well, this is what it came up with, and believe it or not, that's what the furniture looks like inside that condo. Now, I didn't tell it that. So I'm like, Aileen did describe wicker furniture and being awful and then putting it to a new style. So I guess it pulled it from her description. But anyway, so that's what it made. But I didn't like all these words over here. So I was like, well, let me get rid of that. So all I did was came over here and I pulled a shape in and I said, hold on. I don't know why I pulled two of them in here, but I pulled a shape in and all I did was shape it to that side to cover it up. Then I changed the color to basically the color that it had it, pretty close. And then I put all my wording in there and I took a picture of Aileen with this shocked look on her face.
Shocked, Aileen.
Yeah, I did let's see this one. And then I just put her right there in the center of it. And I put um I can't remember exactly what I put, but I think I put something like, crap, I can't remember what I called the video. But anyway, I put the wording right here at the very top, right in this area here. And I just
Yeah.
put like, from worst to best or something, whatever it was. But anyway, and that's it. I mean, just simple, simple, simple.
And those pictures that you have, like that, those alien pictures, did you, was that taken in front of a green screen or that's a white background?
It's a white background, but it doesn't matter. Because let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find
Well,
one.
and I'm asking because Nick had said the other day to use a green screen and then showed all of his stock photos.
Yeah, but you don't have to anymore. With the
Yeah.
you used to with the technology, you had to have a green screen. But watch, let me show you what I'm talking about. Now this video is this picture's a little blurry, but you see all that, and I'm standing in the middle of Aileen's condo actually. I
Hmm.
just hit background remover, and all of it's gone.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter where you take the pictures. So you can literally sit at your desk, take a couple of pictures, like shocked face pictures, all that. And then just because all you're going to use basically is your headshot anyway. Um, so like I had some more in here. Um, I had a couple of Tim that were that I actually pulled off of, here we go, right here. So I actually pulled like this picture of Tim, I pulled off of one of his thumbnails that already existed. And I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, it worked. There you go. So see, it just pulled everything out of there and just left a picture of Tim. I mean, the technology is unbelievable. Um,
I
but
can't
yeah,
take
you,
pictures like that of myself.
but yeah, you used to have to take it at a white screen, green screen, blue screen, something like that. But now you don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
now you can. I mean, and believe it or not, you can, there's like in CapCut, you can remove the entire background of a video. So like Tim and I did so well, I did a bunch of training on the YouTube stuff, and a lot of those trainings I did at my mother-in-law's house, and I wanted to cut out that background and I put an AI background behind me, and I literally went into CapCut and told it to remove the entire background, and it's just it looks weird. But once you remove the background, it's just me sitting there talking and there's like nothing. It's like dead space behind me, and then you can take and put that picture, overlay it, and then it looks like I'm floating in an AI background, on a lot of that stuff.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I was sitting at my son's climbing gym the other day after Nick was talking about the green screen. And I was like, where am I gonna find a green screen? And I look to my right and I see like green out of the corner of my eye, and I was sitting against a green wall. And I was like,
oh,
oh, I can come here and take some photos.
there you go.
He was sitting upstairs at the climbing gym. Don't mind me.
But yeah, you don't have to necessarily have it anymore because they got the AI technology that's out there is unbelievable. So you just take pictures anywhere. Take it right there against that wall.
Yeah, but the AI is not working for me like it is working for other people. Like those examples that he gave last week, like those did not work for
Well, let
me.
me tell
So,
you why. mine was doing the same thing, but you kind of have to let it catch up with itself, if that makes sense. You got to
Okay.
do it repetitive, do it a couple of times, and it'll finally pick up on what you're trying to do. So it took a while for me too, because I took some farmhouse pictures that I have of a listing, and I tried to do some virtual staging, and the
Hmm.
first few that it spit out at me were horrible. And then I just kept telling it. I was like, "This is terrible. Try again." And it kept trying until it got it right. And then
I always
finally
feel like I should
now,
tell it thank you when we're done.
yeah, I always do, believe it or not. I
Yeah,
speak to
yeah,
it just like it's a person. Like,
yeah.
if it gives me something really good, I'll say, "This is fantastic. Thank you so much." And then it'll answer back and go, "Oh, you're welcome, Andy. Anything I can do, just let me know."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Okay. And you were on the Freedom Team call earlier where the girl was talking about having like your introductory video and stuff. Do you do anything like that?
Well, we do on our channel, we have a series of videos, a playlist of where um we go over RECAD, which is something in the state of Alabama that has to be signed. Now, I just found out I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon with my broker, the state broker, because she wants to meet me in person. But she said that they've changed the laws. We no longer have to get a buyer's agreement signed. So that's starting April 17th. We don't have to get a buyer's agreement signed. Um, yeah. So, and then
You think other states will follow?
I don't know, but yeah, we're eliminating it. And then also the RECAD will now have compensation listed on it. So we'll have to say whatever our compensation is going to be. But now, we don't know what that's going to be. I mean, like, so she's supposed to meet with me and tell me how that's all going to work. And then we have to get a RECAD signed for the office. So we have to get a RECAD for our business, personal business, and a RECAD signed for EXP.
Okay,
So
what's a recad?
it's basically telling you how I can represent you. That
Okay.
there's I can represent you as a transactional brokerage, or in a just one-on-one, or in a limited consensual. So it just explains the different types of brokerage agreements is basically what it boils down to.
It's your
Okay.
agency disclosure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi, Tim.
But yeah, so which is crazy. I mean, I don't understand why we're eliminating that. And I've told my buyer's agents that we're probably still going to get it signed anyway, just
Hmm.
because I got a feeling that it's going to come back. I mean, something is going to wind up happening where they're going to say, "Oh, did you get the buyer's agency signed?" And if we say no, there could be repercussions. So
Hmm.
I've just
Maybe
always
because
go ahead.
maybe because we're a buyer beware state in Alabama too, and most other states aren't. That's probably why we're getting away with it. But I don't know. The
Yeah,
feds are still saying we have to, and Alabama's saying no, we don't have to. So to be determined,
right.
to be continued.
Well,
Yeah.
in Arkansas, we had been getting it signed before, but not just to get into a house. Like I would have them sign it just before a contract. And then if we didn't get that contract, then I'd already have it signed and then I wouldn't send it again.
Yeah, see, the way we used to do it was we got it signed before we wrote up a contract, but you didn't have to have one to go show property.
Right.
Now, I always did, only to protect myself,
Right.
because basically, I didn't want to go out and show on a whole bunch of properties to somebody, and then them turn around using somebody else, and me have no ground to stand on, which you probably don't anyway, but it just makes them feel like they're under contract of some sort. Oh, I've signed a buyer's agency with this guy. I got to use him, that kind of thing. So that
Right.
that was just always my thinking behind it. But I mean, listen, the law is always going to fall on the side of the consumer no matter what happens. So, it is what it is.
Right. Okay, going back to my notes. I thought I had more. Oh, okay. Looking at my other. Um, when we were looking at my YouTube channel last week, I learned from watching your videos today that I'm going to change my little circle instead of having my brand logo to have like my picture there. But I have to learn how to resize my headshot before I can do that. So that's I don't like the technical things. I don't know the technical things. So like I have to learn how to use Canva and I have to learn how to do all the things. So it adds extra.
Well, what type of computer do you have? Is it
A
a,
Mac.
it's a Mac. Okay.
Mhm.
Then let me show you. Let's see. Let me make sure I have a picture. Let's see. Here's one. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see. I want to share this one. Okay. So you see this little picture here?
Mhm.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is basically you open that picture and then you go up here to, let's see, go up here to tools and say adjust size. And then when you click on it, and then you can, where it says scale proportionally, take that off and then
Mhm.
type in whatever size you want it to be. Just say you want it to be 180 by 180, because that's probably the size you're going to have to put in that little spot. Just click OK, and it resizes it for you. And then now it's 180 by 180 so that you can use it wherever you want to in that spot.
Perfect.
So it's really easy on a Mac. And I was hoping you were going to say you were on a Mac.
Yay. Yay.
Be careful turning that scale proportionately off though, because you could end up with something stretched out or tall and not be, you change the image disproportionately by unchecking that. So just watch out for that.
And the
I
only
do not.
reason you'd want to change that, like I clicked off of it, is if I was going to make the top line, bottom line different sizes. Because if you put
Mhm.
scale proportionally, no matter what you change that top line to, it's going to change the bottom line to the same thing.
Okay.
But that's how you resize it. It's really easy.
Okay. All right. My next question I wrote down is regarding the calendar. Do you think Calendly is superior to Google Calendar?
Yes. Well, the
Okay.
only reason I say that is because you can go like in Calendly. Let's see. In Calendly, you can set up, golly, I cannot type. I tried to type it in Calendly 4 times. So in Calendly, you can set up, let me share my screen again. Um, Let me move this out of the way. So in Calendly, as you can see it, you can set up all these different types of meetings. So you can do a 30-minute Zoom, 30-minute phone, 15 phone, exploratory call, 60-minute. You get the point. You can set up all those different ones so that then you can share that link, and then they can click on it, and that's the only calendar they pop into. So like if you could set up different calendars for different things is what I'm trying to say. So like
Mhm.
if you wanted to set up a calendar on your, say, YouTube page for somebody to talk to you to do an exploratory call, then you can mention that to them, or you can mention it to them on the phone. I'm going to send you a link to jump onto a 30-minute Zoom call with me, and let's talk about what you're, blah, 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 blah. So
Mhm.
that's the reason I like it. And I'll bet you Tim can tell you because he is the absolute expert when it comes to Calendly, and he can probably tell you more benefits. Tim.
That really covered it.
But we tried out a couple more. We tried out HubSpot, and I really don't like it.
Okay.
I really don't like it at all. And we messed up and paid for a year of it before we
Hmm.
realized what we had done. Um, but yeah, I mean, we just everything keeps pointing us right back to Calendly. Plus, it interlinks with your CRM so well. You know,
Hmm.
I'll
And
just add, Christy, that you can sync your Calendly to your Gmail calendar,
mhm.
and you want to do that so that they're not scheduling times when you're not available. They won't see what's on your calendar, but they'll only see times where you're free.
What about an Apple Calendar? Will it sync to that?
Uh,
yes, to
will
your
it?
iCal, yeah, it will. Mhm.
Okay. Because I haven't started using the Google Calendar. I just hear some people saying that versus.
Yeah, I just tend to like Calendly better. And then I also, I mean, we've looked at different platforms for this too, for Zoom. So we're doing some other stuff where we're running some webinars for agent attraction. And we actually looked at, well, I looked at several platforms, Loom, Meet uh, Google Meet. I looked at several of them, but Zoom and Calendly talk to each other so well. And then there's just, I just haven't found a better platform than Zoom or Calendly. Um, and I've looked, trust me. I've looked everywhere. Because when Tim and I were doing this and Aileen, we were like, I'm trying to find the best option at the cheapest price. And it seems to be everything's coming right back to this.
Okay.
And I don't know the cost of Calendly, but it's not much, is it? It's like $10 a month.
$120 a year or something.
Yeah.
And there's not a free version. Or but
I
you
think
want the
so.
paid version. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you gave instructions for that subscribe button trick. Though I didn't look at the notes, but those are in the notes. Is that
Hmm.
in there? Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm lying to you, Christy. I think there is a free version, but you can only have one event type,
Mhm.
like one 30-minute phone call. You
Okay.
can have a phone call and a 15-minute phone call and an hour Zoom and all that. I think there is a free one. It's very limited. But you can start there if that's all you're going to use it for.
Okay. All right. And then I think we got into talk. I say we got into because I was watching the modules, and I've started. I don't think you were on here when I was saying like I started to mark them as watch so that anyone looking can see what I've done. So, um, the a website for like questionnaire to gather their information. Do you use the Stand Store for anything? Do you use I don't know if I wrote that down when I was watching your videos or when I was listening to the Freedom Team call this morning, but
Yeah, it definitely wasn't my videos. I don't use we use it, and I'll just put it to you this way. Our website, everything that we have, our website, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter page, everything points right back to the YouTube channel. I
mhm.
use the YouTube channel like it's
Website.
a a web page, like it's my whole thing. So I just want everybody to go to the YouTube channel, period.
Well, but what about gathering their information?
Well, that and 9 times out of 10, most of ours is from a phone call, but you can set up a form in there, like a link to say like a jot form, or even there are free forms on Google. So you can go to Google and go to Google Forms and have them
Yeah.
fill that out. And it's a free version. You don't have to pay for it. And put a link in there and say, if you want more information or contact me or whatever, and put a link in there. And then when they click that link, it makes them fill out, and you can put the questions in there. It makes them fill out the questionnaire. I've actually got one. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because
Or
I
even
actually,
like a KV core, like link to like put them right in your CRM.
yeah, you could make a landing page with KV Core and have it gather the information. Um, or you can do let's see.
You could really use Calendly for that because you can gather their information when they're scheduling the appointment with you. It's not going to dump it into your CRM though.
So
Hmm.
what I did, just so you can see this, what I did was, I'm assuming you can you see my Google Drive?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So right here where it says Baldwin County homeowners, so this is a form that I filled out, and you can see right there, OBA Living Team. It's a Baldwin County Homeowner Survey 2025. And then it asks them, would you consider you selling your home, blah, blah, blah. This is a seller questionnaire. And when they fill this out and they enter in their, it's going to ask them to enter in their name, uh, email address and phone number. And when it does, it shoots it back to a Google sheet that tracks them, that keeps up with everybody that filled it out. So you'll gather their name, email address, and phone number with this form. And so all you have to do is just copy this form, this document right here, the URL, and put it in there and say, want more information, fill out this homeowner survey or whatever. And then that way you can gather it. But or yeah, like you said, you can do a landing page within KB Core, which is really simple to do.
Guys, I'm going to have to run. Christy, do you need anything from me before I go?
I don't think so. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
I'll
Thank
see you
you.
in a minute.
Okay, buddy.
20 minutes.
Okay. I'm getting some emails like people might be reaching out to us. I don't know what those are all about. That's one of the reasons I need to go and check on that. But if
Oh,
you
I
and
just saw an
Mike
email,
check
but it
as
was
well.
from when you start running Facebook ads, for some reason these spammers try to think that they can attack you and start saying, "Oh, we're suspending your account if you don't click this link."
So it was just one of those.
Yes. And
Okay.
so I just say, I'm not clicking the link. Suspend the account. And let me tell you something, Facebook ain't never gonna suspend your account as long as you're spending money. So
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean you
See you
might,
guys.
Bye.
see it.
Are you guys going back to Michael Reese right after this?
We just got back from Dallas. So I flew back in Saturday, which was a nightmare. There was all
Mm.
these storms in Dallas,
Yeah.
so I had to switch my flight got canceled, and then I had to switch airports. So instead of flying into Pensacola, I had to fly into Mobile, which meant my wife had to come pick me up. Then they delayed that flight. And then, so I paid for a first class ticket and I had to wind up sitting in like 12D in a seat this small. And,
Mm.
it was, and then American, after fussing with them for 2 or 3 days, they finally refunded me $65 a few minutes ago. I guess they think that's going to solve everything. And I know they can't help the weather, but it was still,
Hmm.
a pain in the butt whenever I paid for a first class ticket and I said something to them about it. They said there's no first class seats available. And as we started to shut the door, there were two empty ones up there. And I'm like, so I said something to them. And then all of a sudden, two American airline employees moved to those seats. And I'm like, okay, yeah, even though I paid
Whoa.
for the seat and they told me they weren't available.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was hot under the collar. But I was just so ready to get home. And by the time I got home and I got in that car, I was just like, I'm just, phew. But other than that, the Dallas trip was good. It's always fun to get face to face with Michael Reese. I mean, he is just like, he's a he's a different person. It's almost like being in the room with and I don't know your political beliefs, but it's almost like being in the room with Elon Musk. You're in
Hmm.
the room with the smartest guy on the planet, and you're sitting there
Hmm.
thinking, what do I need to ask this guy? And that's the way it is with Michael Reese. When you're sitting in there with him, plus we had Jay Kinder in the room too. He was
Hmm.
there speaking on one day, and you're like, okay, well, we got Jay Kinder and Michael Reese in the same room, you know, what do I need to ask them? It's crazy. So
What do we do?
yeah,
So many questions.
it's nuts. They're on a different level. I mean, these guys, when when you're sitting there and talking to somebody, you can just almost tell, you're having a conversation with them and they just think different than everybody else in the room because they
Yeah.
think so big. They think about, the next where we might be thinking about the next $1 million deal, they're thinking about the next $1 trillion deal. I mean,
Hmm.
it's crazy. But it was good. I mean, all the training was good and it wasn't we didn't learn a whole lot of new stuff, but the little bitty nuggets that we picked up was pretty good, but it was just the fact of being face to face with them in the same room because a lot of this stuff, some of this training stuff that we're wanting to do is, you have to buy more training and buy more training and buy more training. And so when you get face to face with them, and I knew it was going to happen, I'm sitting there talking to them and I'm like, I really would like to get my hands on this, 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 and this. How do I do it? And they go, oh, just jump in our calendar and then set it up and we'll just hook you up. We'll just give it to you. No worries. We'll give you the, and then so, Woods hollers over at Julie and says, put him in your calendar and just give him the keys to the kingdom. Just set him up with everything. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, this was worth the
Ah,
trip.
that's so great.
Yeah. This was absolutely worth the
I'd
trip.
I'd fly in 12D for that.
And no doubt. Yeah, of course. So, but yeah, anyway, well, I hope
Okay.
I was helpful.
You're helpful. I'll just get back to it. So
Okay.
it's great.
Well, listen, if do just like you did this time, if you come across questions or whatever, write them down and I'll see if I can help you. So that's what I'm here for. And believe me, all the mistakes you've made that you're making, I've made. Trust me.
Mhm.
So don't worry
Um,
about it.
hey, I think I have one more question left on my list that I was going to ask you about on the
Yep.
settings when you said say no to kids. You said that's because of the monetary, or I can't remember why you said it, but I know, I mean, like, I know what that's for, but I wonder, like, if you do that, like anyone like that has filters on their phone or on their devices won't be able to find you.
Well, that's one thing. Then plus, if you tell YouTube or Google, if you tell them that your videos are made for kids, they're going to scrutinize your videos, and there's certain things they won't allow in your videos. So
Okay.
if you just happen to mess up and say, like damn or whatever or something in the video or whatever. I mean, they can
Hmm.
limit you for whatever. They'll flag your videos and they'll delete your channel.
Hmm.
So you just don't want to make the mistake of even having that, so yeah, I just always check, you know, no, that it's not, my videos are not made for kids. What it means is it doesn't mean your videos are X-rated. It just means that you're
Right.
not specifically targeting kids.
Hmm.
Because there's no-nos on that. Now there are channels out there that are made for kids, these cartoon channels or whatever. And some of them like that, uh, I forget what it is, but there's one of these Japanese channels that are on there that's got like 200 million subscribers and it's just nothing but, videos for kids. So
Yeah.
but you're not, your channel's not going to be that. Your channel's educational. It's informative. So basically all you're trying to do is teach people what it's like to live in the area that you live in. So you're just trying to educate people. And that's how they're going to find it is by, if they search for those type of videos.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Got
Perfect.
it. All right. Thank you. We'll see
Oh,
you
you're
later.
welcome anytime. And like I said,
Okay.
if you have a question that pops up between now and next Tuesday, just hit me up in the chat and we'll see if we can't solve it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.